So, good afternoon. Welcome back for your OOP. In the morning, we have missed a theory class. So, I will take a little theory. Then we will start with the practical, with whatever possible. So, in the theory, we are discussing about the properties of Java programming, how Java is advantages. It has lot of advantages. We are discussing that Java can be executed in any platform. In the last class, if you remember, we are discussing about some Android platform like Android phone, Android uh, entertainment system, Android television. So, if you have seen Android television and this Android based entertainment systems, how you write the program for that? How do we write the program for a Android based? Now, why? Now, what is the need for that? Is some of the questions. Let us just take and understand some of the questions, like why we need a operating system for a television. Can you can someone answer, or have you asked yourself that in our house, in our day to day life, we have used television for so many years? You have watched television since your childhood, but that there was no need for a Android based television. Now, now Android is not a company, right? Android is not a company. What is Android? What is Android? Android is a operating system. Now, okay, first of all, there is a Android based television. Are you aware of that or not? Can you tell yes or no? Means, are you aware that in nowadays there is a Android based television? You must have seen in your home, or you must have seen advertisements. But there is Android based television, there is Android based entertainment system. In cars, most of them are available in new cars, and Android based Android based this television. So, are you aware of it? I hope you are aware. Okay, let us assume everyone are aware of this platform. Now, Android is not a company like we have a Samsung as a company. Now, Samsung also have this smart TV, and nowadays that is also a upcoming, that is the Samsung smart TV and this. But we are basically, we want to relate our subject to understand the need of the object oriented programming. Let us just go around and see what is existing nearby us. So, what is existing nearby us? Nearby us is existing in our day to day life. We have mobile phone, we have this TV and refrigerator. Now, why Android based television? What is the need for operating system in a television? What is the need for a operating system in a television? Can someone answer, or uh, can you send me message that if you know why, means what is the need for operating system in a television? Now, Android is a operating system. When we tell Android based television, that means the television is equipped with a operating system. right? It is not a television that exists only with only a hardware. Television is not a hardware. Nowadays, with a Android based television, there is a operating system also, that is the firmware. Understand, that is called the firmware. So most of us have seen television which is barely hardware, that is, this is only consist of the hardware. But when we say Android based television, it is consist of software, that is the operating system. Android is operating system, and inside the television there is a this firmware. What is the need of the operating system? So operating system, you have done the operating system, so you can understand that if there are more than one or two processes running at the same time using some resources, those resources if have to be managed, you require a operating system. Yes, if there are more than one resources, if there are and there are more than one processes executing over that resource, then you need a operating system. So your television set, that is more like a software based television. You can if you have a Android based television set, you can update that software, you can install new apps, you can update your television software. Now if you have Dish TV and Tata Sky in our home, when we if we have if when we have Dish TV and Tata Sky in our home, and we cannot change that particular software. When we have Tata Sky and Dish TV and Airtel TV, Videocon TV, you must have seen that when you change that particular set-top box, the way the screen appears is changes. Yes or no? So you have to replace that hardware. After replacing that hardware only, you are able to see some changes. That is when you change the hardware, that is set-top box of the Tata Sky or Dish TV, then sometimes the layout of the screen changes. But without changing the set-top box, you cannot do that upgradation, because our television set is not equipped with a operating system. It is not equipped with a upgradable system. There is no software inside that can manage this. But with a Android based television, you can upgrade your television set and you can install new apps like the Netflix and so many softwares, Netflix and Hotstar and this and that. We can watch from your television. You can do if you have an Android based television, you can do YouTube. You can run YouTube directly from your you can run directly YouTube directly from your television. Now why we require a operating system in the television? How will you run YouTube from your television? You will have to do hotspot. You on your net from your mobile, then you do hotspot with your television. So your television will be connected to your mobile, and to manage this connection, to avoid the television from interfering in other processes, there may be other processes running in the background. Likewise, when you do internet connection, you have to do lot of other processing also, like determining the proper internet protocol address, that is called the IP address, to where your connection is. So that means when you watch television from your Dish TV, you no need to worry about IP address and this and that, so software is not required. But when we connect a operating system of the television, why we require this operating system? To manage the softwares in the television. Now what are the softwares inside the television? The softwares are YouTube, the softwares are Google Chrome, the softwares are Netflix, the software is Hotstar, the software is so many Sony, so that is Sony Live. So these are some of the apps that are inbuilt into the television set. Now Netflix and this and that, you all know. I have not experienced it myself, but you all know that you require internet connection. Without the internet connection, I don't think Netflix may be possible, but you require some additional hardware. If you are not having the additional hardware, then you can do it from your mobile phone by hotspot. You can download that. You in your television will not have the internet. Yes or no? To have the internet, you require a SIM card. To have internet in your mobile phone, you require a SIM card, and you have to recharge your internet. Now television set sometimes have inbuilt SIM card, but if you have mobile phone, you can share from your hotspot, and from your television you can run YouTube. That means from your television set you can, using your remote of the television, you can run YouTube, and you can watch your favorite shows, but your internet connection will be from exchanged from your hotspot of the mobile. So to manage that internet connection, you require a operating system. Without the operating system, internet connection cannot be managed, because to communicate over the internet, your messages that whatever channels you are going to surf, the management you will understand when you go to your computer network syllabus. But for your understanding, I hope it is clear to you why is the operating system required in a television. That means when you nowadays televisions are very much advanced, you can connect internet, you can do lot of upgradation of the software of the television. You can upgrade if there is no app installed in your system. You can install one of the apps inside your television. Suppose YouTube is not there inside your television, but you have a Android. You have a Android based television, but you don't have a YouTube, and you don't have this, those you can download it in your inside your television from your internet. This kind of facilities, and to manage these kind of things, to manage the system resources, to manage the memory, to when you download something, you need some memory management. Yes, so to manage those memories, to manage the system, you require a operating system. Okay, so that was the first part. Now coming to the second part, how to write a program. So that means if Android is a operating system, that means you should be able to write program that should be executed in a operating system. We write a program. To execute our program, we require a computer program. When you write a computer program, to execute the program, you require a operating system. So Android, so how to execute your program? You are writing a program, you execute in Windows, you can execute in Linux, also you can execute in Android. You are using a smartphone, you are opening your browser. The browser is what? It is nothing but a software program. So your operating system is Android, it can run various program. How to write a program? So Java is a language. Using Java, you can run and execute programs not only for Windows but also for other platform as well, like for Linux also, like for Android based systems also. Now when we mean Android based system, Java does not differentiate between a Android based smartphone and a Android based television or a Android based entertainment system. Only thing the Java require is the it is that only thing the Java requires is that you should install a virtual environment. You should, like in our in the previous class, we have discussed that when we write a Java program can be converted into Windows, Unix, Mac, and many others. One of them is the Android. Now how to do this, how this is done is that when you install the Java will run and execute a virtual environment. Java will install a virtual environment in your system. This virtual environment you may choose up to your liking. You may be using a Windows 10 laptop, but you can install a Linux virtual environment. You can install a Mac virtual environment. Also you can install a Android virtual environment. Now how to install this virtual environment? When you install the Java, you will have to mention in the Java what you want to select, what kind of a virtual environment you want to select. So when you install the Java in your Windows platform, you will have to select the virtual environment. By default, if you download the Linux, your virtual environment is also Linux. If you download for Windows, your virtual environment is also Windows. If you download for Mac, your virtual will be Mac by default, but you can change it. So suppose I am using a Linux system. There, if I run a program, this program I want to run in Windows, so I download a Windows based engine. So and that Windows based engine will be this Windows based virtual environment will be created where the program will execute. As you can see here, there is in the middle, you can see there is something called class file, that is called the bytecode. So there is this is the bytecode. So bytecode means it is a intermediate program. It is a intermediate program. Let me show you one. So by so it is a so it is a intermediate program, like we have here. So here as you can see, this is the block diagram for the Java execution environment. Now what this is doing is, this is basically a computer. It is a block diagram of a computer. Okay, it is a block diagram of a computer, and this computer may be a Linux based computer, this computer may be a Windows based computer, or a 32-bit platform or a 64-bit platform. Now when we tell about Windows is available both 32-bit format, 64-bit format. Windows is available. Then there's other Windows based system also. There is the IBM based systems. There is when we tell about Android, there are a lot of various versions of Android version 5, Android version 6, version 7, version 8, version 9, version 10. Every year Android versions are changing. So when we tell versions are changing, so not only the software but their hardware is also changing. So the hardware is also changing. So when a hardware is changes, all the programs, all the user programs have to be written again. When a hardware changes, to execute a program on a hardware, you have to write your program again. But in case of Java, even we change platform, the same program that you write one time execute in many platforms. The same program can be executed in many platforms. So that's what we are discussing. When you write program in Windows, you can execute in Linux, you can execute in Android, and not only means Android, you can execute in the latest Android phones, Android 10 or your Android dual core, octa core, whatever, 4 GB Android RAM, 2 GB Android RAM. Now, when an Android phone is a 2 GB, and the difference of an Android phone of a 4 GB, what is the differences of a 2 GB Android phone, 4 GB Android phone? Now there are many differences, like the paging will be different, the size of the page will be different. Now size of the page means, in operating system class you have learned how paging is done. You divide the memory into equal segment. If your memory is 4 GB, so obviously number of pages will be more. When you have number of pages will be more, then number of processes run also will be more. So when you have number of processes run will be more, then virtual memory will be more, then number of page table size will be more, cache memory size will be more. Yes or no? And to manage, when everything is more, from a 2 GB memory, also from a 1 GB memory, a 2 GB memory, whatever number of pages you require, if you have a higher memory, suppose a 8 GB memory or a 16 GB memory, then obviously number of pages will be more, virtual memory size will be more. So if everything is more and more, that means the system is going to get slow, but that is not the case. Yes or no? When we increase something, when we go from a lower system to a higher configuration system, then our memory sizes increases. Our laptop initially was a 1 GB laptop, 2 GB. Nowadays all laptops are 8 GB RAM laptop, 16 GB RAM laptop. So when we tell 16 GB RAM laptop, that means the number of processes you can manage with that huge RAM memory is very high. That means the number of processes that can be put into the RAM, random access memory, is more, because your memory size is more. So if number of processes can be put is more, then your number of pages will be more, number of page table entry will be more. These things you have learned in your operating system class. So if everything is more and more, then how the system is not getting slow? That is one question. So why the system is not getting slow? Because the internal platform, the internal hardware of the system is also increases. Internal hardware of the system, if you have a static hardware, if your hardware is fixed, suppose your what the hardware you are using in 2000, in 2020 also you are using the same hardware, for example, is there any use of upgrading the software? Now in the same hardware, suppose your hardware is the same, your stomach capacity to eat, how much you can eat, let me say for example, how much you can eat is same, suppose, from your childhood up till today. If you keep on putting everything at one time, then what will, can your stomach able to bear it? So your hardware is changing, your body structures are changing, your hands, your legs, your body, all are getting stronger, or your muscles are getting stronger, so you need more food. So when you go by ages, you can digest more, so you can consume different types of food, whatever food you give. But when you are small, when you are child, your parents do not give you the parents avoid giving you very spicy food, because your stomach is not upgraded. But by the time you go at the age you are now, so you are able to digest most of the system. Also you can able to stay hungry for at least suppose say 4 to 5 hours before the dinner. So suppose you have taken a lunch, then you can take the dinner directly at 10 p.m. But when you are a small children in school, then after the lunch you require a snack break, you require some soft drink in the evening 5 p.m. 6 because your child, your capacity, you are not going to your system is not going to support. So imagine if your hardware of your body is remain the same, then can you can the if you now you go and stay hungry, will you able to support yourself? No. If you again, then again you, with the same body structure, if you eat suppose one chicken alone, will you able to support? I am just saying example. So it is not going to be like that. So similarly, as the as the number of RAM memory increases in our day-to-day hardware, not only laptop but mobile and this software touch the IT technologies, the internal structure also changes. Now what we mean by internal structure, we mean the register. You understand what is a register? Register is, you can see here in the middle block there is something called PC registers. So this is the register that the computer has. Now our physical hardware can have a limited set of registers. The hardware can have suppose 10 registers, 20 registers, 30 registers. But if you want to add one more, at least one more register, you have to change your motherboard. You cannot do it, but if you have a software, you can add any number of registers. If you have a software, just you can upgrade the software, your number of registers you can change, like we change in our program. We suppose we want to arrange 5 numbers, we take a array of 5 numbers. If we want to find the maximum of 10 number, then we change the size of the array to 10. Similarly, if our PC internal structure of the computer, if the internal structure of the computer, it is denoted by this middle block. This middle block, can you see the middle block here? This is the internal structure of the system. This internal structure of the system is a software based system. It is not the hardware system that you are block diagram of a computer. When you draw the block diagram of a computer, we draw the memory segment, we draw the input, we draw the output, we draw the control unit, we draw the arithmetic logic unit. Yes, so that is our for the physical system. But the Java install its own virtual computer, its own virtual machine. Now in the virtual machine of the Java, this is the block diagram of that virtual computer. There will be PC registers. Now by the PC register we mean here a array of register. It is not a physical register. It is not the physical register that we have understood. It is a array of virtual array of registers. Then thread, you understand, thread means your some parent process and child process can execute together. That is the your thread program. So like in our present day scenario, program can run it, more than one program can run at the same time. So by the concept of threading, that is there is a multi-threaded system, there is a single threaded system. So those concepts, so to implement a multi-core system, you have to manage something like a thread. So that block diagram here have show a collection of some thread. This collection of the thread represents that the Java virtual machine can handle more than one processes at one time. That is the representation of this block diagram. And this particular parent process and this particular child process can have its can have his own set of PC register. That is in the right side of the stack. This is the on the right side of the thread, you can see the PC register. That means this Java engine can handle more than one processes, like our CPU can handle more than one processes, the laptop can handle more than one process. Similarly, the block diagram represent that the Java also can handle more than one process, that is denoted by the thread 1, thread 2 up to n. In n is any n value that we can assume, and this is the PC register, and this is the PC register, n number of register. Then there is the native method stack. Native method stack means the user library that we that is the library functions that we understand by library functions. In the left side we have heap area, we have method area. Now heap area and method area, heap, we understand what is a heap. Heap is a collection of memory blocks. heap memory. When we tell heap memory, it is a collection of memory block, and method area, it is a collection of say libraries to do loading, to do user defined functions. Okay, so stack means stack program. When we do stack, there is a push and pop. That means so where whatever program we put first, that have to execute first, then whatever program we put second, that have to be on the top of the stack. So stack means the last in first out. Yes or no? So when you are, suppose for example, you are running a browser and immediately you click on a movie file. So for at least a small amount of time, the browser will be put into the waiting state or the suspended state, and the movie will be run. After running the movie for some time, you have learned it in round robin algorithm. That is, there is a quantum time for which one process run. That is the preemptive scheduling. So to manage all this preemptive scheduling, you have to keep your program in the left hand side. Then the program will be put into a thread, that is you can see in the middle, and the thread, that is the thread means it is a sub program. This sub program will be given their registers. And what is the use of register? Registers is used to store intermediate values of a execution environment. So when a program is executing, many values are getting calculated, those are stored in the registers. A native method stack means the user, that is the library function of for the Java. That was about your middle tier. Now when coming to the top tier, when we submit a program to the Java engine, we will use different types of functions. Some of the functions may be downloaded, some of the functions may be put into a different folder. So when we put some of the functions into different folder, when we download some functions, we have to give the link. Yes or no? We have to give the name, we have to give the link where that function is stored, where. So when your program will be executed, before doing the execution, your program have to be first, any program, not only object oriented program, any program, it has to be first link some your programs, if your program may have more than one components. So first of all those components have to be linked. Then all your components have to be loaded. Now loaded means some of your program may be into a different folder. Different folder means inside the hard disk. So to execute a program has to be brought into the primary memory, that is the RAM. So that process is called loading. That particular process where you bring your program from your hardware, that is from your secondary memory, inside the primary memory, that is called the loading. Once your program is loaded, the address into which the program is loaded will be given to the main program from which you are making a function call. Suppose you are making a function call to a folder which is in the hard disk, so that particular program in the folder have to be loaded into memory. Once your program is loaded into memory, that address will be linked like a linked list. When you connect a linked list, a memory have to be available in the, that is your best fit, your operating that system concept of best fit, worst fit, fastest first fit. So when you link a program, from to external folder, that program in the hard disk will be brought into the RAM. Its paging will be allocated with some algorithm, say best fit algorithm. Then the address where the address is been given will be linked. After the loading, the whole program, your program may be small program, one divided into many segment. Then some of the segment will be in folders, everything will be linked. everything will be linked, then it will be given to your this middle tier. So that is the purpose of the top tier. That is the what your block diagram is showing, that it not necessarily a Java program. This is true for all the program. Then the middle tier is the Java block diagram, where this block diagram shows that this middle tier can have many thread. Many thread means one user can submit many programs. So there are a lot of threads here. So one user can submit lot of programs, and for each program there is a set of PC registers. The PC registers means when your program will be executed, intermediate result will be stored in the register. Okay, then we come to the last part of this last block diagram. This is your execution engine. Now once your program is ready and ready for execution, the Java engine will call a JIT compiler. Now what we mean by JIT? JIT is a just in time. JIT is just in time. Now what we mean by just in time? Just in time means that once you submit your program is divided into thread. Your threads have been allocated to PC registers. So this register is have to be given to a particular, that means to execute the output, your output have to be given to a particular format. Remember the virtual engine. That means this execution engine is the your virtual is your virtual platform. In the top tier, the first layer of the diagram is your platform where you write your program. It may be a Windows system, this top tier. So when you write your program, you assume this is your Windows system, where the Java will link and load your program. Link and load means different segments of the program will be collected, put into one single file. What is a compiler? Compiler, definition of compiler, it execute the whole program one time. And okay, so if your program is not link into one unit, your system will not able to compile. So when you write your program into small different files, all your program in the memory have to be loaded and linked. So this is your means your user environment. That means this is your system where you write your program. And then we come to the middle tier. This middle tier is the virtual environment. This is your virtual PC, your virtual computer. So all the program that you are writing, the program that you write will be divided into thread and some PC registers that contain the data of your program. Okay, so when your Java compiler will divide your program into required stack and PC register, it will call a compiler. Now call a compiler means it depend upon the user choice. User may choose a Unix compiler, that is your Unix virtual environment. User may choose a Android virtual machine, like we have discussed. It may be an Android virtual machine, it may be an Android version 9 machine, it may be an Android version 6 machine. So that is your last step. That is your last step. So up to the second step, it is common for all. That means your whoever your friends in the class, they may have different computer. I may have a different computer. So the first two phases will be same for me also and for you also. That means whatever output I get from the second stage will be same for me also, will be same for you also, will be same for your friend also. Java does not, because this particular stack area, this is a virtual computer. This virtual computer is developed and it is kept the same for all the download, whoever is doing the download from the Java website. So when you download your Java website, the virtual this virtual machine that is created, the virtual machine is divided into two states. The one is the middle state, one is the bottom below state. Up to the this and the top state is the software where we write the program. It may be a Windows or it may be a Unix or a Mac. So up to the second layer is same for you also, same for me, same for your friend. What changes is the third layer. You may use a virtual engine of Android, you may use a virtual engine of Windows, you may use a virtual engine of Linux, but up to the second stage, whoever in this world is downloading the Java, up to the second stage his output is got the same. There is no difference. So you can up to the second stage, what the output we get, that is called the object code. What the output we get here is called the object code. In the second stage, what the output we get, it's called the object code. So object code is same. So object code is same. So the object code is same for you, for your friend, for me, everyone. The object code is same. The only difference come is the execution engine, that is what virtual engine I choose. Okay, so this may be opened and remove. This may be opened and remove. Opened and remove means, what I mean by opened and remove means, if that means if I have a Windows, I connect here Windows. If I have a Linux, I connect here Linux. If I have a Android version 9, I connect here a Android version 9. If I have a version, I connect here Android version 10. So that's why this name is JIT, just in time compiler. This compiler, just in time compiler, is not a part of the Java download. So when you download the Java, up to the second stage is same for all, universal. You also, me also, your friend, everyone will get the same. This third part you have to download separately. That's what we said, that's what I discussed, that that the JVM you download your own choice. This will be by default, it will be same, but you can download your own choice. This virtual engine you can download your own choice. So up to the second stage, everyone in this world gets the same output in the Java. That's why me, you, your friend, everyone. Only thing is you have to download and install the virtual environment according to your choice. This execution engine, this third part of the block diagram, this is called the just in time compiler. So just in time compiler, you see here the stages, name of the stages are intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generator. So this target code generator means what the operating system you want output. It may be a Linux, Unix, Android. So this part, so when you install Java, you have to install two software. One is the Java, one is the main Java software, that means this Java that I said, no, Java program that you have to install, and one is the virtual machine that you want to install. So up to this, so that this virtual machine, so two software you have to install. Okay, so what is the NetBeans come here into play? So what the NetBeans is, NetBeans will avoid this two times installation. One one time we install Java, one time we install Java virtual machine, two times downloading and installing. To avoid this two times downloading and installing, when you download from the NetBeans, if you are interested to use your Windows, you download Windows. If you are interested to use the Unix, you download the Unix. You get one time installation only, you get up to from the first stage to the last stage. And in the NetBeans, the default is, if you are downloaded for the Windows, your default is the Windows. If you are downloaded for the Linux, your default is the Linux. That is the use of the NetBeans. But if you download from the Java website, you have to download the Java separately, you have to download the JVM, the virtual engine, separately. That is this is the third block diagram. To execute the third block diagram, you have to download one software that is called the JVM. that is called the Java virtual machine, that you have to download. So 2 times downloading we have to do. To avoid 2 times downloading, since we assume that, yes or no, when we write a Windows program, I am not going to you are also not going to check the output in the Unix program. When you write a program in the OS, you will check the output in the OS also. But Java has this provision that you can download JVM for Unix and use it. That is up to you. So by default, if you download for Windows, your JVM is also Windows, but still you have to download it 2 times, both the Java and JVM. To avoid this, to avoid this, you install NetBeans. When you install, that we discussed in the practical class, when you install the NetBeans, you get it the same. That means you get all the 3 stages in one time. No need to download two softwares. One is means for the execution, one is for the your development, that is for your compiling, linking, loading, thread registers, these things one block of the software, and the execution another block of the software, depend upon what platform you choose. Okay, so that is the advantage why we can choose the execution, that engine and NetBeans. And if someone is interested that by writing Java program in Windows, how I want to execute in Unix, then you can meet me, and in the lab I will show you how to install a JVM for Unix and connect your program with the program written in the Windows. But once you write a program in the Windows or in the Unix or in the Mac, but if you use the Java, you can execute it anywhere. Only thing you can do is the first 2 stages is remain the same, universal for all Java user, that as I said, only the third part is changes. So this third part you have to connect it. How to connect the third part? This is called JVM. You have to download this JVM. Okay, you have to, but if you are using the NetBeans, everything is downloaded for you at one time only. And if you are using the Windows, by default your JVM is Windows. If you are Unix user, then your JVM is also the Unix. So that is all for today's class.